Hello, students! When we talk about a democracy, we often think of big words like freedom or equality. And yes, those are very important. But the real promise of a democracy is actually much deeper. It's about making sure that every single person can live a life filled with dignity and safety.
So, how does our country make sure this promise is actually kept? Well, the Constitution of India gives every citizen certain guarantees. Now, these are not just ordinary laws. They are very special, protected rights that we call fundamental rights. They exist to protect the very core of our human dignity. Today, we're going to explore two of these essential guarantees. Let's start with our first guarantee. This is the right against exploitation. You can think of this right as a kind of powerful shield. It's designed to protect people, particularly those in the weaker sections of our society, from being used, mistreated, or forced into unfair situations by others. You see, the people who wrote our Constitution knew all about the social inequalities of the past. They were very clear that to build a truly just society, certain harmful practices had to be stopped completely. So, they identified three major forms of exploitation and declared all of them illegal. Let's look at each one. The first evil is something called trafficking in human beings. This means the illegal buying and selling of people as if they were objects. It is a terrible, terrible violation of human dignity, often done for immoral reasons or for forced labor. Our Constitution strictly forbids this in any form. The second practice that is prohibited is bigar, or what we also call forced labor. This is any situation where a person is forced to work against their will, either for no money at all or for a wage that is far too low. When this kind of work is tied to a debt, it can become an even worse trap called bonded labor. The key point here is that our Constitution says no one can be forced to work without proper payment. And finally, the third evil is child labor. The Constitution is very clear. It bans the employment of any child under the age of 14 in a hazardous job. Think about places like factories with dangerous machines or deep underground mines. This rule is here to protect a child's health, their development, and of course their fundamental right to get an education and simply have a childhood. So, we've seen how the right against exploitation protects our physical and economic dignity. Our next guarantee protects something just as fundamental to who we are, our beliefs. Let's move on and look at a different but equally important form of protection. This is the right to freedom of religion. Now, you have probably heard the word secular used to describe India many times, but what does it actually mean, especially in the Indian context? It's a very important concept for a country that is as diverse as ours. So let's break down what secularism means in India. First, it means that the state, that is the government, does not have an official religion. It must remain neutral and treat all religions with equal respect. This has real consequences. For example, it means that government schools cannot provide religious instruction, and the taxes we all pay cannot be used to promote any single religion. This right gives every single person the freedom to profess their faith, which means to declare it openly, to practice it, meaning to perform rituals, and to propagate it, which means to share your beliefs with others. But, and this is very important to remember, this freedom is not unlimited. It comes with responsibilities. You cannot use your freedom to harm or discriminate against anyone else. You cannot force anyone to convert. And all religious practices must respect public order and morality. And this is the main idea right here. Your right to practice your religion ends where another person's rights and dignity begin. Any practice that treats some people as inferior or violates another person's freedom is not permitted in the name of religion. So, as we come to a close, it's important to see that these rights are not just separate ideas. They are interconnected. They're like two strong pillars that together support the foundation of a just and fair society. The right against exploitation ensures our safety and protects our dignity. The right to freedom of religion ensures our beliefs are respected, which allows us to live in harmony. Together, these two fundamental rights work to fulfill the great promise of our democracy, to build a society where dignity is guaranteed, beliefs are respected, and everyone is safe.